I like it when people stumble or we can't remember that place on Woolwich, like Evergreen Center. No, the Evergreen Center. Oh,
Oh,
I
yes.
think we just found our bloop bloop. How's it going, everybody? My name is Ged Smythe. Welcome back to Fabulous Flix. This is Chapter 9 of A Walk Around Guelph. You have heard the spiel 8 other times if you've been watching. We just want positive vibes. We want to have a fun, organic conversation and find out what the people in our community are doing during this time of lockdown. And more importantly, what are they putting on at night? So the individual to my right and your left is Holly from Smitten Apparel. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me to be here today.
Absolutely my pleasure. This is kind of another fun one for me because we really don't know each other.
No, we don't.
This is actually the first time we've physically seen each other. I hope I didn't disappoint you. I'm sorry I'm not better looking.
I have a t-shirt on and I'm just like all in my comfy clothes now that I'm home. So
Awesome. So I guess first things first, for viewers that don't know, you own and run Smitten Apparel.
we have been in Guelph for, it'll be 12 years this June. And we are a consignment store on the east side of Guelph. Very current things, current items that have been bought within the last couple of years. And we carry like everything for the family. So it's like women's, kids, maternity, plus size, and men's.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny and almost embarrassing. So my now wife has worked with you in the past, but when she came to me and said, "Hey, you know who you need to have on this show is Holly from Smitten." I'm like, "We're Smitten." She's like, "You stupid ass!" Like it's literally up the street. Like we're literally a minute from the store, and it's one of those embarrassing moments. But it was also a big eye opener because I'm like, if I don't remember. Because Guelph's so spread out now, right? You know, if this is a great reminder for me, and especially with the charity that you're involved in, which we will talk about pretty shortly, how many other people could use that friendly reminder? So I'm super, super appreciative that you're here. This was my lovely wife's idea to make sure I had you on, and I couldn't wait to get you on. So you've been around for 12 years, and you deal in all stuff. Was it always that you carried all types of clothing? Was it ever kind of dedicated towards maybe the female shopper at first, or?
Always been, I had a really good mentor in a job that I worked at before I opened Smitten Apparel. And it was always in my plan to carry everything for the family. So kids, women's, be inclusive of sizes, carry men's, and then maternity.
Interesting. And what made you decide to open this style of store? Because this is a little bit different than your typical clothing store. How does it work, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, sure. So how it came about was I worked at a consignment store before I opened Smitten, and they closed. And my husband said, "Oh, you really loved it. You were really smitten." And I really enjoyed my job. So that he came up with the name. And it was always in my business plan to be able to give back to the community in some way. So it's always just been really important. Like we have extra wide change rooms for strollers, wheelchairs, walkers, anything like it's for extra wide that way. And yeah.
That's amazing. Now obviously the world probably changed for you a little bit approximately a year ago. How has that been?
Oh, a year ago tomorrow.
St. Patty's Day.
Closed. Yeah. So how it's changed for me is I was thankful to a friend of my sister's, Chelsea, who called me about a week in during the first lockdown. And she said, "Okay, you need to like switch your website to online." we have to get it online. So we took a week and a half and we flipped it over to an e-commerce website. And after that, we had some amazing support through our community. We were so excited. We were doing the dance, the small owner dance of
The happy dance, the touchdown dance.
yeah. So we offered free delivery while we were closed. And so that was great to be able to see a lot of people that I had been missing. And like that's new words this year, like pivot, curbside pickup, all these new things that you just have to like figure out how to just keep on going.
And when this changed and you got that color, that message from Chelsea, was there this moment of sheer panic, like, you want me to do what? Or was it more of like an exciting, like, oh, okay, cool, I'm ready?
No, it was sheer panic. I couldn't get it figured out, but she's like, it's okay, we're gonna do this. And it worked well. It's with Shopify, if I'm allowed to say that, but
please do. Great company.
Transition, and she was a huge help. And here we are a year later, and I'm happy that it's working.
Well, I was actually creeping your website just before we came on, and it looks fantastic.
Oh, that's all Chelsea. I mean, Shopify is really, really easy to change. So
yep.
I can change. So, but that's all her great job of setting up. So yeah.
That's amazing. I had Steve Zago on here, I think back on episode 2 or 3, and he was a furloughed airplane pilot, and he started Lost Aviator Coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually knew him from the BMW Mini world, and he's had the same positive things to say about Shopify, that they were super easy to work with. Like, he's a bit of a nerd. He's like, I was able to put this thing up, and he doesn't offer obviously a fraction of the number of products you do. But he said they were super easy to work with. He's like, this was obviously a pretty stressful time, and they were an amazing support system.
And the best thing too is there's been a couple of really amazing Guelph businesses that have supported me. They, the Lovely Co. and Plant, both have Shopify sites. So when I call and ask a question, they're always there to help me. So that's nice.
Oh,
that's to learn.
Amazing.
I've learned, I've met them now through this craziness.
So when I'll say when, I'm definitely not going to say if, when the world starts to find its new normal, do you think that online will stay a part of your daily, weekly, monthly operation?
I think so, because it's a great way of showing our product if you don't necessarily want to come in. So not everything is up on the website, but a majority of it is, especially maternity, which is really hard to find because there's no stores open anymore in our area. So
makes sense.
Put up as much maternity as possible, and all the fun things like shoes and purses, and yeah, it's sometimes
awesome.
Pants online. So those aren't the ones that we try and put a lot of, but the other fun stuff like tops are easy to
Nope, that makes perfect sense. And you're involved in a charity and have been for a while, just to kind of switch gears here. And you and I spoke, the very first time we spoke was on the phone, and you had a hilarious line, because I always ask every guest that comes on, is there something you don't want to talk about? And I loved how nonchalant and sassy you were about it. You're like, everything's good with me. We're going to end up talking about periods. Here's like 8:30 at night. I've never spoken to this person. Right into the female cycle. I'm like, I cannot wait to talk to this person.
The whole point is to stop the stigma and stop period poverty.
So what is the charity? How long have you been a part of it? How did you get involved? take me through what it's about? Like, because I am legitimately uneducated on this part. You're gonna have to fill me in.
I love talking about it. So it's actually 5 years ago. It's actually got started initially with a man. So Ed Pickersgill, actually, who works outside on the bench downtown, he actually put a request for this needed menstrual hygiene products that were needed for him when he used to be in the Baker Street building. So from there, Nancy, who works with me at the store, her and I, well, she actually looked into Tampon Tuesday. So I realized that Tampon Tuesday is an organization that's out of London. And I called Mandy Fields, who's been doing it for 11 years. And I said, look, this is what I want to do. I want to get donations and give back to all the services in Guelph that need them. And she's like, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you want to do that. Let's just go for it. So we've been part of Tampon Tuesday for 5 years.
And how does that logistically work? So I'm somebody who wants to help, who wants to contribute. What does that look like right now, especially during a pandemic? Of what do you need from me? Is it product? Is it money? How does that get distributed?
Well, actually, the whole point of it is not to just necessarily donate it to the store. Like, we take donations at the store every day that we're open. But the idea is to donate products, menstrual hygiene products, to any service in Guelph that needs them. So there's like some amazing places. There's Hope House, there's Onward Willow, there's Chalmers, there's amazing neighborhood groups that could use them. There's the food bank, there's the bench. So you're more than welcome to bring them to the store any day, Monday to Saturday. But the whole idea is they're the least donated, the most requested.
Interesting.
And if you have one woman in your household who is menstruating, then that's easily $15 to $18 a month. So can you imagine if you had 2 or 3 women or menstruating people in your house, how expensive that could be? So we don't ever want anyone to have to decide between food and taking care of their bodies during their period.
You know, it's something that obviously I as a guy specifically, you know, it's something that I would never even have thought of. And I say that very, very humbly and sincerely, because it's nothing that we've ever had to deal with as a species, right? But it's just hearing you say that, it's so true. I couldn't imagine being in one of those people's shoes where you have to decide, like, do I eat dinner tonight, or do I take care of my own physical self? So is there a list of on this new fancy website of yours, is there a list of places that you can drop donations off to?
You know what?
And if so, did I just make more work for Chelsea? And if so, Chelsea, if you watch, I'm so sorry.
It's so easy. Well, we do talk about on our Instagram and our Facebook pages. Like, for example, last week, we got a request from the food bank, which we don't really get to often, but they reached out to us. And so we had some money, and thankfully for the last 5 years, Shoppers Drug Mart has been a major sponsor of Tampon Tuesday. So they let us buy all the products at cost, which
It's amazing.
like a whole shopping cart full. Like, I get the funniest looks when I've got my cart filled with menstrual hygiene products. Sometimes I just say it's a really bad month.
Yeah. I'm going from here to the LCBO. There's some wine on sale.
No, so we were through some donations in money, we were able to buy products. We also have some jewelry sales, dollar rack sales in the store that we raise money for, and then that lets us to buy product at Shoppers Drug Mart, and then we donated it on.
Is there somebody, an organization right now who is specifically reaching out? So for anybody watching this, I mean, this will go up, today's Tuesday. This will more than likely go up tomorrow or Thursday at the latest. That's right. Today's Tampon Tuesday. You know, until this call, Tuesday was Taco Tuesday. Now it is forever Tampon Tuesday.
Is there some organizations that are needing them? They need all the time.
Okay.
So the food bank needed them, so they probably need them again. Chalmers is always needing them, as well as Hope House.
Okay.
Onward Willow is always very grateful. I haven't touched base with them lately. And what we do is we actually get quite a few donations of the, how do you call it, the incontinence pads, like the pads for when you are older and you need like better protection for when you're, So what we had a lot of calls with people who had extra packages of those. So what we do with those is we also pass those on, and through the seniors,
like the senior center on
what's that one called again? I just totally lost my track.
On Woolwich, in between Speedvale and Woodlawn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that one. The name will come to us after. But anyone who's watching, you know exactly what we're talking about. It's right across from Tim Hortons. It's right beside Riverside. Is it Riverside Glen? It's right beside Riverside Park. So I figured there had to be a Riverside in there. We are terrible Guelph people. Guelph is literally judging us right now.
So sorry. Anyway, they were so great. They hooked us up with 2 senior support workers that work in the city, and so we passed them on to them. So those are expensive as well. So we pass on free product to some seniors that are in Guelph as well.
And if you don't mind me asking, and you may have touched on it earlier, but just clearly I'm having a moment. What made you decide to want to get involved with this charity? Because as a business owner, it's not uncommon to find something to help sink your teeth in and to use your platform to help support. But was there anything specific, or was it just the idea of never wanting someone to have to make that choice?
It's probably a little bit of being raised by a single mom and just didn't want anyone ever to have to struggle. So just worried about women's health, or anyone who's menstruating's health. Just want them to be as healthy as possible.
That is an absolutely fantastic answer. So I guess the reason we're supposed to be having this chat is with changing your website and spending time, supporting this charity, whether it's through your own business and gathering support. Obviously, home life is, of course, busy because life doesn't stop, even though we're in all this. So at the end of the day, like when we get off this call, what are you putting on TV right now? What are the 3 things that Holly from Smitten is watching during our in and out cycle of different colors of phases of lockdowns?
Okay. So it's really interesting that you asked that, because I don't know if you'll ever get this answer, but I discovered Turkish series, like they're Turkish movies through Netflix. They have
Okay.
That's what I discovered on Netflix. So I've been watching those. Also on Prime, I love Yellowstone.
I've not started Yellowstone yet, but everybody's raving about it.
It's really good. As well as right now, I am in the middle of Suits, which I think is fabulous.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is.
Yeah,
so
you can get Yellowstone. You should put that on your list.
I just finished watching an older one, Sons of Anarchy. And as soon as I told somebody that I had finished, they're like, Yellowstone has just come out. It's like Sons of Anarchy, but with Kevin Costner, and they're on a ranch in Montana. I'm like,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Kevin Costner? Like,
Cowboy boots and like cowboys.
well, I'm gonna wear my assless chaps when I watch it. There's no doubt about it.
You know, my husband, if he could borrow my son's cowboy boots.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things about Yellowstone. So Turkish films, which is wild, Yellowstone and Suits.
Yeah.
Now, because you haven't watched this one at the end, here's where the pressure comes in. And these are points awarded if you've seen one of these. So if I, as someone who's just met you, wanted to watch something to help me better understand who you were as a person, what would you tell me to watch? For example, mine is Happy Gilmore. If you want to know who I am as a person, you watch the movie Happy Gilmore.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
A musical of some sort, like Mamma Mia, or like because I'm always singing. I'm not a good singer, but I'm always singing. So it was
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia or Sound of Music or something like that.
I absolutely love it. You're actually the second person that would say that would have said The Sound of Music.
Okay.
Which is very cool. Well, that's absolutely amazing. All right. So what have we covered so far? You pivoted like a champ at Smitten. You are heavily involved in Tampon Tuesday, which I can now say with a straight face because I'm a comfortable fella, which is no longer Taco Tuesday, I've learned. And well, I gotta ask, how did you come across Turkish movies? First of all, I didn't even know they had these on Netflix.
Well, they're Turkish actors, and so there's their movies and their series. There's a couple of them on Netflix. And actually,
do you have a favorite? what was that?
I've learned a little bit of Turkish because I'm listening to a lot of them. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
There's one. I don't know if it has an English title, but it's Sayet and Sura. So Sayet and Sura are the two main characters, and the costuming is beautiful. It's set in the Bolshevik time frame in Russia and Turkey, I guess, basically. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow, you know what? I've heard some interesting ones. People watching YouTube series on people living in campers, but this is definitely the first time that I've come across anybody watching Turkish movies on Netflix. Well, I hope you'll stick around for a couple minutes after we are done this, because I'd love to keep chatting. And I know you've had obviously a long day at work, as I'm sure every day is a long day at work, because not only do you have your normal workflow, but you're now putting stuff up online for your Shopify site. So I cannot thank you enough for not only taking the time tonight, but also for making time to continue to dive into that charity when right now, as much as it's wild and some people are kind of at home a lot more, time is definitely at a premium. So the fact that you make time to do something so positive for the community around is really why I wanted to have you on, and thank you on behalf of all of us. And I hope that anybody watching this, although there's lots of great causes to take part in, nobody who goes through that should ever have to make that decision. And I think if I have one takeaway from tonight, other than I'm probably never going to watch a Turkish movie, is that that's a decision that nobody should ever have to make. So I very much appreciate the time. Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you for having me. It was really a lot of fun.
And I'm definitely going to come visit now because you're a minute away and I'm riddled with guilt.
That would be great.
All right, take care.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.